What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. It is the 25th day of October. Here we are at about 111.6K right now, 12 hours left in the day, a little bit over 12 hours. Before we get into the TA, I want to try and say this briefly. I've actually had a hard time saying this. This is like the second time I've made this video. Meta signals. First and foremost, I want to say I'm not paid by Meta Signals. I'm not affiliated by any degree at all. I just like them. I like Eric Crown. I like Crypto Zombie. This is a real-time trade alert page powered by proprietary algorithms, and it's not just a page. Metasignals.io is a thing, and again, I'm not paid or affiliated, but I'm not a big proponent of promoting paid groups or paid products in this space, because not because I think they're scams, but because largely I just don't think they're worth it. This is something that I would actually pay for, that I actually think is worth it. And not financial advice, not a financial advisor. None of it's a guarantee. But if you're on X.com, give them a follow, because they offer free trade setups. They literally do. And not every single day, not every single setup do they offer, but most of the time they're actually pretty accurate. October 19th here, they had a 71% chance they gave you a 71% chance win rate for a 113.7K target when the price is at 108.5K. If you're going long on Bitcoin, if you're using leverage, like that's actually a pretty good return, depending on what leverage you're using. But from there, October 19th, we literally went up to $114,000. The target was 113.7. That's like spot on. We didn't hit target 2 or target 3, but whatever, you hit target 1. Target 2 and target 3 are not guaranteed, and they give you the percentage chance for hitting those as well. But I'm just saying, from here, this target they put out 10 hours ago at a $111,000 price. Target 1's at 116K. So they're saying that we're going to go to 116K, and the win rate percentage is 76.6%. So that's pretty cool. They're saying that 76.6% likelihood of a chance that we do go up to about 116, 117K, somewhere up in this area. And that makes sense. Wouldn't that be perfect? Wouldn't it be perfect if we went right here, just above this high, just like we went just below this low? I'm going to forecast it right now without meta signals that as soon as we get above this high, there's going to be bulls screaming at the top of their lungs. Just like there were bears screaming at the top of their lungs here, we're going down. They're going to be like, we're going up. We're going to see new all-time highs. And right then, that's when we reverse. Right there, that's probably where we will reverse. Right. Overall, what we're doing in this range is just moving sideways. And I'm assuming through our own analysis in this video, we'll probably come up with similar targets here. I do think it's interesting that they have a $144,000 target that they're giving a 21% chance on. That's pretty good. I'll take those odds. 20% chance at 144K, bring it. We'll get there. Maybe by the end of the month even. Probably not by the end of the month. But anyways, 111.6K. Let's move on from that, okay? Looking at the 1 hour time frame. Again, if you're not following them, I think it's worth it. I really do think it's worth it. If you're trading and you're serious about trading, you might even consider paying for the service. Like it's actually, I think, one of the few things that's actually worth it in the space as far as paid services goes. You will never hear me promote paid services on this channel, because they're just not worth it. Largely they're not. If you want to pay for someone's group or something, typically in this space, the way that you should think of it is, you like the person, you want to support them, you want to like show them that you support them, like that's that you want to be a member with their group or whatever. That's kind of how I would think of it. Don't think of it as something that you're getting value from really more than that, because typically that's how paid groups are. But this one I think is worth it. Honestly, I do. Anyways, but it's not cheap. It's not cheap for probably the average person. But if you're serious about it, it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Anyways, 111.6K here. And you have to be strict. When I say serious, I don't just mean serious. Yes, I'm serious. I want to make money. I mean serious about trading. Like you have to, if you're going to use it, you have to abide by the logic here, right? The stop losses are there. They give you stop loss moments. They give you liquidation points, and they give you take profit points. You have to be strict with it. Don't forget to take profits at these levels. Don't forget to put your stop losses at these levels if they're putting it there, right? It's not just some willy-nilly thing. Be strict with it, because they're strict with it for a reason, right? These are very advanced traders in the space. Anyways, Bitcoin, 111.6K. It's probably best to just stay away from trading. Just buy and hold. It's way easier. Looking at the RSI is very productive, right? We are finding resistance here at the overbought zone. We are not getting oversold at all, and we bounced right off the 40. We're barely even below the 40 at all. It's a pretty good looking RSI overall. The stochastics are bullish as hell, and the MACD is also bullish as hell. We love to see it. 4-hour time frame here. Looking at this guy, also very bullish. Right, we're in an uptrend. We've got higher lows and higher highs. Some people were thinking that we'd move down yesterday, but we were like, no, we're not going to move down. We've got support here. Even if we move down a little bit, that's fine, but we're probably going to move back up. We're likely to go to that overbought zone here pretty soon. I would think either today, Saturday, as odd as that might be, or Sunday, which is the more probable outcome. Saturdays are typically pretty boring, neutral days. That's my experience with Saturdays. Stochastics look bullish as well, and the MACD looks bullish as well here. Building momentum, huh? That's nice. Not decaying in momentum, we're actually building momentum as we're moving higher. That's good. I think we look really good. I think that we are set up. I believe in this for sure, that we are set up to move higher. And I like that that their target's at a $116,000 price, because 116K is literally, it's just like right above this here. As soon as we hit that target, boom, then we sell off. I love it because that makes so much sense. It's just like this. You go right below this low, and that's where the low was, right? You go right above this high, that's where the high is. They're not making it easy on you. When I say they, I mean the market makers in this space. They're not making it easy on you at all. And psychologically speaking, that's a real mind F, right? That really screws with people's brains, because as soon as you're breaking out above this, we should be going higher. We should be breaking out, but no, we're probably going to come back down, right? We're probably going to be in this upward sloping trend here, and then we'll come back down and touch the base of that trend, and then continue to move up, something like that. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, the indicators here, again, everything's positive. I think really we haven't seen the move yet. We haven't seen the breakout of this phase yet, but we're about to. That's what I'm seeing here with the RSI and the other indicators here, but specifically the RSI. Looking at the daily time frame here, zooming out a little bit more, very phenomenal daily RSI, right? We're in the same area here that we have been every single time that we've bounced, right? Every single time that we've bounced, really since March, we've been right at this area, right? And when we bounced here, we went all the way up at least to here. When we bounced here, we went all the way up to the overbought zone. Here. You see what I'm saying? Like we're not even anywhere near where any of these stopping points have been whenever we bounce from these areas typically. So we've probably got more to go, statistically speaking. And I would expect that we probably do get into the overbought zone at some point. What I like to think about is like prospective, in the future. How long will it take for this RSI to get overbought? Because if you notice here, when you get overbought, this is the beginning of you getting overbought here. This is the beginning of you getting overbought here. You had a little drive there, but we're not going to count it. It's a rejection. That's the beginning there of actually getting overbought. Notice how when you get overbought, that's like the beginning of an overall greater move that comes up. That's the beginning right here, this day, of greater movement to come. That's halfway through this move here, and there's more to go. So what's nice about being overbought is typically you move up going into that, sure, getting into the overbought zone, but you also move up more afterwards. So thinking prospectively here, thinking into the future, how long is it going to take for us to get into the overbought zone? I can't imagine that it would take us to the end of November. It probably happens sometime in the early part or the mid part of November that we're overbought. And with that, we likely do see some expansion, some new all-time high price action come into play. I wouldn't be surprised if we move up going into the end of this month, and then we might move down going into the beginning of November, and then continue to move up higher. We'll see how it goes. 111.6K now, looking at the indicators. RSI looks great right here. We like the stochastics. Typically, you do go, right, you get overbought, you get oversold. You get overbought, oversold, overbought, oversold. We're on our way to getting overbought. So bullish things there. Kind of the same thing as the RSI. Once you get overbought, that's when the magic starts to happen. The MACD is the one thing that looks bad, but I think, again, we said this yesterday, that whenever you're moving sideways like this, the MACD is less reliable. In fact, every time that we've crossed green, look, we're at a high point. Every time we cross red, we're at a low point. Like, it's not really, the uglier you look here, the better it is probably, because it's less reliable. I think that we're going to move up from here. I think we are at a low point, and then beyond that, looking at the MACD, we are at some of the lowest points on the histogram that we've been really this whole cycle. This literally was the lowest on the histogram we've been this whole cycle. We haven't been this low since December 2024 or March of 2024 either. And December 2024 was this low point here. So we moved up and then we moved down. I don't think that we're going to see this kind of reaction. I think we will move up, but I don't think we'll move down afterwards and see this kind of reaction. Overall, we are still in this megaphone pattern from a high here, perfectly connected and in line right there. Megaphone right here. It's absolutely undeniably a megaphone pattern. This is the best way to draw it, right? Again, I've seen people actually draw this same pattern recently, and I'm surprised at how they're drawing it, because I see people taking it from like back here. They'll draw from back here, and they'll do it like this, and that lines up too. Don't get me wrong. That line, it works. It makes sense, but this isn't part of the pattern. You know what I mean? Like this is the pattern here. This is not. This is part of this pattern back here, right? It's not the same pattern. You can use the same line, but then you're not doing. You know what I mean? You can use trend lines, and trend lines are fine. You can use the same trend line if you want to, sure, but that's not the pattern. The pattern is here. Here's the pattern. So if you're drawing a pattern, just for anybody who's learning here, if you're drawing a pattern, use the pattern, right? Higher highs, and then from the low point of the pattern, connecting down. This is actually very perfect right here, and you're doing something that's very classic with this megaphone, right? Which is you have 5 moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You typically have 5 moves, and on that 5th move we look for what's called a partial decline, where you reach for, or sometimes a partial rise, where you reach for the line and you don't quite get there, and that's a signal that you're ready to break out of this pattern overall, and probably to the upside, right? If we turn, I want you guys to understand that if we return back up here, the statistical probability that we not only get above this high, but break out of this pattern and see a move that corresponds to the breakout of this pattern, which would take us to about $155,000, the odds of that happening, if we just get back up here, are tremendous. Right now, there's a tremendous opportunity to get into crypto before we see some overall expansion in the markets. I mean, Bitcoin literally right now is projected to see a 35% move in what I could only imagine would be less than a month from now. Absolutely less than a month. Maybe like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, a month at the most. But I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said it all. Again, sorry for the shilling so much of meta signals, but I really do think it's great. You don't even have to pay for it. You can just literally follow them. You can pay for it if you want to, and you get more advanced features because of that. But you can just follow them on x.com. And again, I've seen these posts. I've been following these posts for like a year now. They're pretty spot on most of the time. Not always. If you're looking at it here and you're like, okay, it's going to hit target 3. Target 3 does not always hit. In fact, they give it from a statistical probability, most probable to least likely to happen, but still possible. Target 1, their target 1s are almost always hit. Almost always, literally. I say almost always, but like they have a pretty good success rate, like 70% of the time, if not more. Genuinely, they're very, very good. But again, with that, there are times where they're wrong. And as a trader, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, none of this edge matters if they're right 70%, if they're right 90%. None of it matters if you don't know how to take a loss, because that 10% of the time, hell, they could be right 99% of the time. The 1% that they're wrong, if you do it wrong, all the gains you make are pointless, because you're just going to trash yourself. So again, if you're serious, take it seriously. Have your stop losses, be strict with it, just like they are. And I would bet, honestly, you could probably make money off of this, but not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Probably best to stay away from leverage trading, if I'm being fair. I wonder, man, maybe I should open up an account and just trade based off of what they post out for free. Only do a trade whenever they make a post, and then see how that goes. I could like do free advertising for them. Anyways, I'm done talking, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care. Thank you all. Bye-bye.